know, the truth stands out clear from falsehoods. You don't have to wonder about the truth. You know it when you hear it. And well, there's a lot of people that are quite hell bent on lying to you. And well, they do it in very deceptive ways. You have to very be able to critically assess what people are saying and what they're not saying. You know, and you can never really trust people that lie to you because, well, they're prone to continue lying to you. Or maybe they won't lie to you. Maybe they just won't tell you the full story, you know. So they'll be deceptive in that way. They'll present themselves as the bearers of truth. But, well, they know that there's not much truth that they're bearing. You know, one of these characters, very disingenuous person indeed. Well, he's a United States Senator by the name of Rand Paul. And well, he's a senator out of Kentucky. And you know Kentucky. It has a very long, treacherous, dark, well, very serious history. It was a slave state. It was, well, it was a state of unspeakable evils and atrocities. You know, things that they're not allowed to teach the children because, well, they don't want to, well, poison children's minds. Well, we'll get to the part where they poison the children's bodies. But, well, certainly they want to not poison your mind. They want to make sure that your mind is poison free. Just your body, you know. Well, anyway, Rand Paul is a United States Senator. And, well, what do you know? He's from Kentucky, a slave state. And, well, on George Floyd's anniversary, first anniversary, because he was lynched on this same day last year in 2020. Well, on George Floyd's anniversary, we had, well, last year, on the day of George Floyd's funeral, after his lynching, we had Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky hold up, install an anti-lynching bill. You know, he's been trying to pass an anti-lynching bill in the United States of America for 200 years. You know why? Because, well, places like Kentucky, places like Mississippi, places like Tennessee, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, places where, well, you know, white supremacy was the prevailing order, and you had Jim Crow. And, well, you probably never heard about this story growing up in school, so let me share it to you. It comes out of Hickman, Kentucky. The day was October the 3rd. The year was 1908. And, well, there was a bunch of, well, there was a mob of 50 people. We'll call them 50 people. We won't say savages, you know, like Rick Santorum referred to the indigenous people. I'll have you make the determination as to whether their behavior was anything humane in a second when I tell you the story. It involved the Walker family. You know, a family of 7. A married African American man. And, well, apparently he went into town on that day. And he had the unfortunate error of getting into an altercation, verbal in nature, not physical, with a white woman. And, well, there might have been some unpleasantries exchanged. You know, for kids that don't know what the definition of unpleasantries are, it's curse words now. So he might have said, fuck you, or go to hell, or screw you. Maybe they didn't use that language back then. Anyway, well, he came back home, and, well, wouldn't you know, a group of about 50 white mob people came in the middle of the night to his house, dressed in, well, wouldn't you know, masses. They can't wear masses now, but back in 1908, they were fine wearing masses and coming to your house at midnight. You know, the hypocrisy runs deep. Anyway, well, you know, they came to his house, They told him to come out. He refused to come out of his house. So they got coal oil, poured it all over the house, lit a match, burned the house. And he eventually had to come out of the house and plead with them, not to kill him and his family. The second he stepped his foot out of the door, the masked white mob riddled his body with so many bullets, they couldn't even keep count. And next up was his wife. She came out with their infant baby. And she tried to do the same thing her husband did and met with the same demise as well as the infant. They shot the infant and the mother multiple times. And they killed the whole entire family. It was a brutal lynching. Go and look it up. I'm not making it up. It happened in Hickman in Kentucky. Fullerton County in Kentucky. Rand Paul's home state. He should be familiar with that. He's an educated, I think, eye doctor. Maybe you should read up on Kentucky history. You see, if the Purple People's Owl knows more about Kentucky's history than, a United States Senator, what good is he? Anyway, that was a very atrocious lynching. And do you know, nobody was ever held accountable for it. Nobody was ever found guilty because they never found the perpetrators. 50 people show up to your home and they didn't prosecute one. So that question again about is America racist? Oh I'll let you be the judge of the answer to that. But anyway, Rand Paul did his thing, his grandstanding thing, where he's the lone person that holds up something. An anti-lynching bill on George Floyd's funeral last year. So this is not 1619. This was 2020. And wouldn't you know, he recently came out and said, he declared to the whole entire nation, he won't be vaccinated. Okay, everybody stop. We got to say a prayer. Let's cross ourselves. Dear Lord, we thank you for this bird. We thank you that you delivered this bird to us. This little baby bird, We thank you that you put a lot of breading and seasoning on it. Cilantro, onion, garlic. And we thank you that you taught us how to bake it in the oven. And now it's good and dead. We're going to send it into our burial space. The last resting place of a dead chicken is in a human stomach. You eat dead flesh. Scratch your head and turn around and do 3 jumping jacks. And try to figure out, how many vaccinations are in a chicken? Have you asked the industrial industry how many vaccinations they give you meat? A chicken, that's at least 10 different vaccinations per year. So, while you're sitting out there complaining about how you're not going to take the vaccine that, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna created, you're not saying anything about how you're not going to ingest the vaccines that, they give the chickens. When you eat dead flesh, you get all the poisons and chemicals that's in the dead flesh. So don't complain about a vaccination and then go and turn around and eat that Kentucky Fried Chicken. It doesn't work that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's what I'm hearing. A lot of stupidity and hypocrisy. And both sides want to point fingers. Oh, it was created in a lab. It was those communists that did it. And there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that can prove anything. And maybe that is the case. The jury's still out. But you know what isn't the case? McDonald's on every corner. Burger King on every corner. Kentucky Fried Chicken everywhere. You can consume dead flesh and poisons anywhere you want in a capitalist nation. And if you're blaming one party for poisoning you, you got to blame the other party for poisoning you too. So it's not an either or thing. It's a both thing. The way I look at it, it's potentially true that the communists poisoned me. But the capitalists poisoned me first. Fast food. Everybody wanted their food fast. The only problem problem is it's not really food. It's chemicals, you know, made by the same companies that everybody is complaining about now. They made a vaccination for you to continue eating, well, the vaccinations, the multiple vaccinations they give to animals. Because, well, you crave their flesh. So, well, you can't expect to live if you're always consuming death. You know, people don't think about it that way. Their brains don't function that way. But, well, Senator Rand Paul, thanks for announcing that you don't want the vaccination. You know, people have been saying for years that big industrial farming and big pharma and all of these conglomerates, they're too big. And capitalism has been poisoning people. Drive by Route 1. See all the smokestacks where they test out chemicals that they spray in, well, the fast food restaurants that make you think your food smells good when it really smells yucky. And it makes you go, well, all sick to the docky. You know, nobody really wants to tell the truth. Nobody has a vested interest in telling the truth. People have a vested interest in lying and keeping you deceived. You know, if you're deceived, you're easy to, well, you leave. And, well, they're going to lead you to the slaughter. Like sheep to the slaughter. I tell you, nobody wants to cut out red meat. Who wants to grill Brussels sprouts for July 4th? You know, you might not be around for July 4th if you keep eating red meat. You know why? You might not be able to grill if you're on a ventilator, if you're, well, in the hospital. So, well, enjoy that red meat and enjoy, well, the heart disease and all the bronchitis and, well, the common sicknesses that you get from ingesting dead flesh. And don't say that we didn't warn you, because we certainly did. We told you to go beyond meat. But anyway, Rand Paul, I'm happy that you made a choice not to get the vaccination. Well, hopefully you won't continue to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Or else you might get, well, you might need a vaccination down the road. Because, well, you can't say that you don't want to take a vaccination when it's time for a human to take it. But when it's time for the animals that you ingest to take it, you have no problem eating those things with multiple vaccinations. I mean, it seems a little idiotic to me.